Hello, everybody, and welcome to USMLEowesome, a video series by USMLEowesome. What this video will cover is what USMLEowesome is about, which is just an introduction to the whole series, who is the intended audience, a little bit about me and who I am and what was my journey about. So, what is USMLEowesome about? It's for those people who are just thinking or maybe like aiming for a residency in the US and have no idea what it takes to get a residency in the US. You know, the USMLE journey is a long process, it's a lot of investment financially, giving a lot of exams. And even though there's a lot of information out there on the internet, all of the information is not together. Sometimes it does not make sense. And so hopefully this video series will give you an overview of what the journey is about and what would be required of you so that you can make your decision a well-informed decision. Who is the intended audience? The intended audience would be just people who are thinking about starting, at least for this video, it's for those people who have really no idea about the USMLE journey. Throughout my video series, I will have a slide on what the video is about and who is the intended audience so that it does not waste anybody's time by watching the videos. For example, if a second year student is thinking about giving the USMLE exam, he or she does not need to know about writing a personal statement or how to go to eras and upload a photograph or something. And similarly, if somebody is applying for the match, they really don't need to know or go through things like what is UWorld or how to give an NBME exam. So throughout my video series, I'll be segregating topics into various videos, and then each videos will have what the video is about and who's the intended audience so that you're not wasting your time by watching these videos. This video is also mostly for my juniors. I've noticed that most of them just call me and ask a lot of questions on how to prepare for step one and what is electives and what are letters of recommendation. You know that talking to someone helps, but sometimes these questions are so repetitive that I really don't think that I need to be in person to help them out. This information is usually found online. But at the same time, I haven't found a resource that I can just give to them and say, hey, watch this or read this, and you will know everything about the USMLE journey. So I decided to just make the video series myself, and hopefully it will help all these new juniors who come to me and ask random questions. Hopefully, I'll cover everything that you need to know, but if you feel that I missed out on something, or if there's something that is not clear in your head, you can always email me or message me and ask. So, yeah, so the intended audience is just juniors who are starting out and just covering what it takes from nothing to actually getting a residency. So, something about me. Who am I? IkaN. I'm a nobody really. I'm a med student from India, so most of my intended audience is Indian medical students, but anyone from any country can watch the video series really. A brief about my timeline in short. So, I started medical school in 2010. I decided very early on to give the USMLE exam. So I gave my step one in May 2014, which is the final year. I will be making a video on step one and when to give step one. The ideal time would be third minor. If you decided late, internship would be fine as well. What happened in 2015? Well, after final year, I applied for my electives and I did not get any electives, unfortunately. And so I decided to do PGCET in India because I thought that without electives you cannot get a residency. So that was me in 2014. Had I known more, I would have been more confident and said, hey, you know what, if I did not get electives, it's okay. I can still get a residency based on observerships and things like that. So Anyway, so 2015 was just a blur where I was doing my internship and had no idea what I was doing with my life. I was studying for PGCET, which is the Indian residency exam at that time. So, anyway, I applied for electives again in 2015 and got accepted. So, I went for my electives in Jan to March of 2016 and also did an observership in April 2016. So, what are electives or observerships? I'm going to make a separate video on that, but basically to apply for a residency in the US and to be a strong candidate for residency, you need clinical experience in the US, which makes sense because why would anyone take you for a 3 year residency? Anyone who does not know you, you're from a different country, you, why would they put their money on you, really? So you need to have US clinical experience. You need to show that you've been in the system, you like the system, you like working here, and that you can adjust to the system and that you can be a good resident in the future. Electives or observerships are also a place where you can get letters of recommendations, which are a very important part of your application when you apply for the match. So these are things to keep in mind, or these are things to know when you're starting off from the journey. It's not just a bunch of exams, but you also need actual US clinical experience. And when you go for these clinical electives or observerships, you need to impress your attending, which is basically your professor, enough so that they write you a letter of recommendation for when you apply for residency. I'll be making another video series on that. Anyway, in 2016, when you go for electives or observerships, you also give the Step 2 CS exam. The Step 2 CS exam can only be given in the US. You cannot give it in India. So there are like 4 centers for this exam. So I gave my exam and came back. That's the ideal time you should actually give your Step 2 CS, is when you go for your electives or observerships. Then I graduated in December 2016. I'm from Maharashtra or Mumbai, so I'm technically supposed to graduate in May 16. But since I had like these 3 or 4 months of time where I went for electives, my rotations in India were incomplete. So I completed those rotations when I came back. And since you graduate only twice a year, at least in Mumbai and Maharashtra, so instead of graduating in May 16, my graduation got delayed in December 16. So what happens is you need to have a complete application, which means all your exams done and graduate before September of any year to apply for the match. So since I graduated in December 16, I was already late for the match in 2016. So I decided to apply for the 2017's match. And since I knew that I was gonna get a delay in my graduation, I decided that I would give my CK a little late, prepare a little stronger, and I decided to give my CK in July 2017. In the meantime, I was doing a compulsory bond, which is required only in Maharashtra, sadly. Anyway, after giving my CK in 2017, I had all my exam results in my hand. I had my graduation. I was ECFMG certified, which is something that it's, oh, I'll make another video on ECFMG certification, etc. But I was ECFMG certified. It's a requirement for you to apply for the match. So I applied for the match in September 2017. That's all you need to do to apply for the match. You need to give 3 exams: step 1, step 2 CK, step 2 CS, and have US clinical experience and letters of recommendation. You need a lot of other documents for applying for the match too, which I'll be covering in other video series, like your CV, your personal statement, a photograph, transcripts from college, a bunch of things, medical school, performance evaluation, etc., etc. Anyway, decided to give my step 3 in December 2017. It's not really required to apply for the match, but I just decided to get it out of the way so that I could focus on my residency. Usually, American grads, they give their step 3 in first or second year of residency. It's not required, but if you have nothing to do, might as well give it. A requirement for giving the step 3 exam is having your ECFMG certification. Without that, you cannot give the step 3 exam. Anyway, so once you apply in in September of any year, you get interview calls, and you go for these interviews. Again, I can make another series of of videos on interviews alone. But just to give you an overview, when you apply in September, you go for interviews, and then in March you get to know where you match. So yeah, I matched in March 2018. Um, and inshallah, I'll be starting my internal medicine residency in July of 2018. So that's my timeline in short. That is also what you would be expected to do if you wanted to apply for the match. And I'll be creating more videos on the USMLE journey. But in the meantime, I would really encourage you to keep posting questions on all of my videos so that I can cover them in my incoming videos. So my next video is hopefully going to be on step 1 exam, how to prepare for it, when to give it, etc., and how to apply for it. And maybe a bit on electives or step 2 CK and so on and so forth. So I expect you to post a lot of questions. Anything that you have in mind, I will cover them in my videos. And yeah, hopefully this helps. Stay awesome.